A very good afternoon to each and every one of you. This is the Marketplace with me, Charles Aite. Coming up this afternoon, the NPRA monitoring pension trustees to ensure that the first batch of Ghanaian workers retiring this year under the new Pension Act are not shortchanged, but rather paid promptly, adequately and fairly. We have the details on this. Also, fuel prices expected to go up this week after months of stability and in some cases, marginal reduction. And later, we get up close with young entrepreneurs and innovative minds on the COVID-19 stories and how they kept their businesses afloat amid the pandemic. Hello once again, I'm Charles Aite with the details of the stories. The National Pensions Regulatory Authority is vigorously monitoring all pension trustees to ensure that the first batch of Ghanaian workers who are retiring this year at 60 years under the new Pension Act are not shortchanged, but rather paid promptly, adequately and fairly. According to its Chief Executive, Hayford Atakrofi, the authority is working with government and other stakeholders to ensure that the teething challenges facing the payment of pension benefits are addressed immediately. He was speaking at the 10th anniversary dinner and awards night of the NPRA.
NPRA has since 2010 been implementing the three-tier pension scheme to enhance retirement benefits. They include mandatory basic national social security scheme, a mandatory occupational pension scheme that is fully funded and privately managed, and the voluntary provident fund and personal pension scheme. Speaking at the 10th anniversary dinner and awards night of the NPRA, Mr. Atakrofi said his outfit had grown and expanded rapidly in his 10 years of service.
10 years of pension reforms have recorded many gains for workers in this country. The reforms also made provision for many more people in the informal sector who would not have enjoyed any form of pension to benefit, to now enjoying pension benefits. Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, the reform brought about the first-tier mandatory basic national social security that would incorporate an improved system of the SNP benefit, mandatory for all employees, both in the private and the public sector. And it also included a second-tier occupational, or I should say work-based pension scheme, mandatory for all employees, but privately managed, and designed primarily to give contributors a higher lump sum benefit than presently available under Cap 30 and the old SNP pension scheme. And finally, a third-tier voluntary provident fund and personal pension scheme supported by tax benefit incentives to provide additional funds for workers who want to make voluntary contributions to enhance their pension benefit, and also for workers in the informal sector.
Mr. Atakrofi later told Joy Business on the sidelines that, though COVID-19 had impacted on its business, investments have not been affected.
Generally, the beginning of this year, we were hit by COVID-19, which has had impact on all operations globally. We expected some kind of effect that this would have on pension funds. But of course, in the course of the year, we've been able to implement the three-tier pension scheme, which first retirees came out into retirement in 2020. We've been able to effect benefit payment, of course, with some difficulties. So far, some pension funds that we expected growth for, obviously, because of COVID-19, may not have grown to the extent that we expected. But by and large, the pension industry has been stable, even in the circumstance that COVID has had on our economy. So far, I would say, so good. We expected some investment returns to actually not meet the expected target. But of course, that fear was from the very early onset of COVID-19. But by the end of the second quarter, we had been able to bounce back, and I would say investments have not been affected as it was initially feared. So far, we have met a good number of our targets. But of course, it would have been better without COVID-19.
Ex-President John Agyekum Kufuor was honored for initiating the country's pension reforms in the year 2008.
Now, the prices of petroleum products are expected to go up by about 5% a litre this week. Now, this is based on data from bulk importers of these products and projections by Joy Business. George Rafi has more in this report.
Joy Business understands that the expected increase is being influenced by prices of finished products going up on the international market. This is due to news that COVID-19 vaccine will soon be made available for global distribution. It is the expectation of these oil transporters that this will lead to some economies opening up or easing restrictions, a development that will lead to demand for their products picking up again. Based on industry data and the required extrapolations by Joy Business, prices could be going up between 3 to 5%. A litre of petrol and diesel is currently being sold at around 4 Ghana cedis 67 pesos. Now, working with about 3% projection per litre, that should translate into about 4 Ghana cedis 81 pesos for a litre of petrol and diesel. Well, for those who want it to be worked out in gallons, this should translate to about 21 Ghana cedis 64 pesos for both diesel and petrol. There are currently over 100 oil marketing companies in the country. There's a likelihood that some of these oil firms may absorb the expected increase or even keep prices unchanged at the pumps. However, some have also argued that this development could open the gates for further increases in the coming months due to the current development on the world market. Others are also of the view that the only savior will be a stabilized Ghana cedi. Otherwise, the door has indeed been open for more adjustments in the coming months running into the first quarter of 2021.
And let's see how it goes in 2021. Well, the fall in inflation to a single digit in May and November may compel the government to drive down interest rates immediately. Now, the sentiment of many market analysts reflects this particular notion. Charles Nexinebo has more in this report.
Inflation fell to 9.8% last month, indicating that price increment comparative to same period last year was slow. But the good thing is that the reduction in price changes over a period may reinforce the government's desire to push interest rates down. This is part of measures to reduce the domestic cost of borrowing in the midst of financing needs triggered by the coronavirus pandemic. The move could also help reduce cost of credit, though marginally. Presently, Treasury bills hover around 14%, but it is necessary for government to push Treasury yields down to reduce the country's debt service burden beyond 50% of government revenue next year. Analysts also expect interest on Treasury bills to fall in the short term, though there are still some risks to inflation in December as a result of increased spending due to the Christmas festivity.
Well, MTN mobile money agents caught in fraudulent activities will have their contracts terminated. That's according to the general manager of MTN mobile operations, Elihene. Now, fraudulent mobile transactions affect the sustainability of the business in general. He expressed this concern at the MTN Mobile Money Awards ceremony held over the weekend. Here's more.
General Manager for MTN Momo Operations, Elihene, says MTN will intensify education, technology and partner with the police to eliminate such acts. However, he urged customers to take responsibility to prevent granting fraudsters the opportunity to access their monies.
We have continued our education around fraud because you mentioned it. It's very important for us. If there's anything that gives me sleepless nights, it is that. And we've, over the period, invested heavily both in education, technology solutions, and also ensuring that we deal with these fraudsters in a very quick manner. And this we have been able to achieve through collaborations with the Ghana police, who have assisted us in doing arrests across the country. We've done over 50 arrests, and these arrests involve multiple individuals. And so a lot has been done. What we want our customers also to do is to take some responsibility, because it cannot be just a one-way thing. And I keep saying that if you have a very good security system, there's always an access point. And if that access point is weak, then that is where the fraudsters will come through. So our customers are not supposed to share their PIN. Our customers are not supposed to discuss mobile money on the phone. If you have any concern, call our call center or walk to our branch, and nobody can do a transaction on your behalf.
National Deputy Public Relations Officer for Mobile Money Agents Association, Joshua Edmondson, called on mobile money agents across the country to join the association to enable it to protect their interests, especially against fraud and robbers. He commended MTN for making agents a priority by providing a life insurance.
We commend them for that, and as Oliver Twist said, we always asking for more. We think, yes, it's a good start, but it should not end there. There are more they could add to it, because we think that the package, yes, though it's good, but I think we could still do more. I would like to encourage all mobile money agents across Ghana to make sure that they go onto our website to register with us, because the truth of the matter is now you hear so much insecurity in the system. People are frauded, armed robbers are always on us, because now you see the banking system is gradually changing, and now we are going to the e-banking, and the mobile money agents, the mobile interoperability. That's the mobile money agents. We become the facilitators, okay? We are the main people that would make this a reality. So we're encouraging them to join the association so that we can be able to protect their interests, as well as to be able to help each other in times of need.
Calvin Achu Wilson, 2020 overall best MTN Momo agent for the southeastern part of the country, speaking to Joy Business on the sidelines, called on MTN to educate agents on the importance of life insurance. Taking away a 4-wheel drive, cash prize and souvenirs, Calvin expressed joy and stated this is a form of motivation to work harder.
Life insurance is very good, but what I think they have to do now is to maybe educate the agent, for them to understand what is really the life insurance, because most of the time if you don't go near the agent, they explain to them what really it is, they may not understand. I'm also overwhelmed. I'm happy. I think we are doing the mobile money business for almost 10 years now, and we work hard. We have been working hard, and we knew that one day this will come.
Emma Davis report for Joy Business.
That was a report from that's on the General Manager of MTN Momo Operations, Elihene, speaking at the MTN Mobile Money Awards, which sought to celebrate hard-working agents across the southeastern part of the country. Now, government has shut down a push by some civil society groups for the adoption of organic farming as the main agricultural policy, insisting it will lead to food insecurity. The Peasant Farmers Association and Food Sovereignty Ghana have been spearheading the adoption of agroecological methods of farming, which discourages the use of chemical pesticides and fertilizers. The Deputy Minister for Food and Agriculture, Dr. Sagri Bambangi, says the push for organic agriculture will endanger the nation's food security. He's calling for a balance.
I say it's good. I say agroecology is good. But I'm saying that we have to combine it with other methods if we have to be food secure. Because the agroecology is good, but we have to reserve it for some lands and for some portions of the country, and for those who can also do it. But there are others who also use different methods, like total mechanization, so that they can produce more food. Because don't forget, whilst we are addressing environmental challenges, whilst we are addressing food sovereignty challenges, we must also not lose sight of the fact that we have to address immediate food security needs of the people. Because once we are food insecure, diseases can easily set in. Once we are food insecure, there can be war, and there will not be peace. And you will not even have a good and peaceful country for you to think about planning for the future. So we have to create a very, very good balance between these ideals that we are talking about and the production of food to satisfy the immediate needs of the teeming population.
So that you think that if we decide to go agroecology 100% now, we will not be able to feed ourselves sustainably? Is that the concern?
Even currently, don't we import some food produce? We import. So I don't need to even answer your question. You know, your question is already answered. So we have to be strategic. And as a country, that's what I'm saying, if farmers who want to practice agroecology, they practice. There's no problem about that. Nobody can sit on anybody's right. Anybody who wants to use his own seeds can use his own seeds. But we are also sensitizing farmers to understand that some seeds produce more yields than other seeds.
You're still watching The Marketplace. Now, we're still telling the stories, the success stories of young entrepreneurs and innovative minds out there who are overcoming the impact of the coronavirus on their businesses. Today, we engaged two interesting gentlemen. Patrick Ajay Nketia, he's a creative director and the founder of Utama. Plus, innovation coach and strategist Amisha Diofori. He consults and teaches on tech and innovative business strategies for innovation hubs, entrepreneurship workshops, and organization. These are two big guys in their own way. So welcome, gentlemen, to the program. Let me start off with you, Amisha Dai. It has been a very crazy year. COVID-19 has disrupted economies world over. You play a pivotal role in improving the lots of startups, entrepreneurs, but how difficult has this year been for you?
Thank you. And hello to all your listeners. Particularly for startups, this year has been one of the most important times of their lives, and as business people, to help them to clearly define what it is they really claim that they do. So for me, I see this year as both a blessing in disguise and an opportunity for them to have tested what they pitch to us as entrepreneurs. From where I sit as an innovation coach with the Ghana Innovation Hub, I noticed that particularly for this year, most of the startups had to really go to the core of what they do. So if they said that they were selling X amount of services, they had to make sure that these services were really delivered accurately and without any other fluff to their customers. And that's what really defined their businesses for them this year.
It's interesting that you stated that, in general, COVID-19 really tested the innovation pitches of entrepreneurs across the country. But speaking of innovation, Patrick, let me rake you in. Your industry is much more dependent on how creative you are. COVID-19 has really tested this creativity. As we could see on the screens there, things you were able to do a year or two before COVID-19 definitely must have changed. What's your story?
Interesting. Thank you very much, Charles, and good afternoon to your listeners. And per where I sit, my friend has made a very good submission, and it's all important that the point of innovation where it came, COVID-19 came, we started with creating masks. We created, so I, on my part, with menswear accessories, I started creating mask that matches with ties, menswear, ties, bow ties, and suspenders.
Oh, nice.
And that's making people, you get what I mean, Charles?
Yeah, I do
people
get
to buy, getting the whole set, and so that they can appear in a more uniform manner. But now you could understand still the challenge. We've gotten very cheaper nose mask on the market now, and now people can buy it by the roadside and at a very cheaper cost. So that was one innovation that we did, but you can understand the situation. So per your question, I believe I've given you an answer.
I believe during the lockdown season, you were convulsed to close down your shop, Patrick, and you might have lost customers in this particular light. How did you sail through these difficult moments of COVID-19?
Charles, I must say it was really, really difficult. Where my first business is located is around the university, and most of the students patronize my stuff. But it happened that they have to go home because of the COVID. So customers were cut down, and I devised another strategy to send the staff to where I live. I mean, my community where I live, so that where I couldn't go out much, I could still sell within my vicinity. I had to cut down the price of it, and I had to really do aggressive selling, moving from house to house, getting friends who have not even probably know that I'm into fashion, getting to tell them about my brand and what I've been doing and how they could buy it. And also, I even I wrote a goal to really dominate my community close by where I am, and people who have not really heard about my brand, how they can also buy and I can get money to live on.
Interesting. So really it does tend to mean that you are really adapting traditional modes of getting closer to your customers. But, Amishadai, that's where you come in, because we have seen the power of tech in COVID-19. We have seen how businesses have been able to adapt in the midst of COVID-19 using technology. So what has been your advice to most startups and entrepreneurs like Patrick, whenever you're having most of your innovation hubs and everything, to get to them and speak to them on the issues of competition? What has been the advice you often give to them?
Thank you, and thank you for stressing on especially the use of technology from our entrepreneurs' perspective. So three of the things that we make sure that our entrepreneurs have in our processes is, first of all, to make sure that they are technically excellent. And by that, I mean they should be able to use the technology at their disposal to enhance what they do. Let me give a good example. During the lockdown, we were training 15 startups in our Innovate GH program, where we train startups in their incubation process. And we found out that for the startups who were able to just quickly switch from manual to digital or offline to online, they were able to increase sales significantly. And that might not be considered very significant when it comes to the use of technology, but that simple shift was able to help the startup. So we say, first of all, be technically excellent. Secondly, we say, have the managerial skills to be able to run your startup on a quicker basis. So example, again, your ability to even switch from making clothes to face masks, right, gives the sense that you are able to understand what you are doing and be able to identify the loopholes exactly when they are needed. And then finally, we say that you should be able to look at a longer term picture of what you are doing. Okay. So yes, COVID has come to interrupt a bit, but what are some of the things that you can do now that can help you to get access to new future?
That's
and
great.
We're fortunate enough to also partner with international partners who were looking to invest in the startups because they also understood that they were going through a tough time. So a great example is the Impact program by the Germans, who will give significant amount of money to some of the startups to be able to run during the program. And one of the startup that we coach, Flowcare, has been able to get money from Impact to be able to take care of them during this time.
That's great.
So
I believe that you could even rope in Patrick moving forward in your programs for him to get a feel of what exactly you're trying to say. But Patrick, you've been listening into Amishadai's submissions. I believe you've taken some notes in terms of the future for you when it comes to technology and moving your business forward.
Exactly. The future is technology now. I have read a report on 2020, the digital economy on Africa, and you could see that about $180 billion coming into Africa only on technology. And what will be our stand and what will be our take on this? What will be our position on technology in this side of the world? Therefore, it's very important, as he's saying, digitally, we need to run our businesses, our media houses. I've read a lot trying to, because now people are really on the internet, we need to give them content. We need to give them really thought-provoking content that will make them really think about our brands in another form, and also inform them also on the other side. And also if we can also connect our businesses to how we can communicate with COVID, something that will also be, in a way, helping the community for what it is COVID has done, how you can also communicate in that stead as a brand. You get what I mean? Yeah.
That's solid. That's solid. But let's now look into the future. Patrick and Amishadai, I want us to project to the future to have a feel of how our businesses must look like in 2021. I want to start off with you, Amishadai. Where do you see SMEs, entrepreneurs, innovative minds in 2021?
Perfect. In 2021, I see a transition, just like Patrick highlighted, especially from a very analog business to having a digital interface to your business. So when we say digitalization, it's basically leveraging technology to be able to now expand your business, right? And that's what I'm expecting a lot of our MSMEs to be able to do in 2021. You will agree with me that thanks to everything that has happened this year, more startups are getting an appreciation for being online, being able to use digital tools that help them to scale. Now, thanks to Zoom, you can reach an investor all the way in Europe. So I see more people leveraging these tools in 2021 to significantly expand their businesses. And thanks to AFC, FTA, I also see the opportunity for us not only to think locally, but to be able to expand well beyond our borders. So for me, I think 2021 puts for us a great opportunity to significantly scale what we are doing. Perfect. So that will no longer be considered at a medium and a small scale business.
Great submission. Let me end up with you, Patrick. Where do we see your business, Utama, in 2021? Shortly, in 30 seconds.
Shortly, we will have to run projects that will give content through our social media platforms so that our followers and our customers will be fed. We'll give them something that they can enjoy from their brand, still from the core of it. So it's still going to be centered only on online-based stuff and still projects towards community to make COVID, we will be okay with it.
You'll be okay. We're just hoping. We're just hoping that you indeed will be okay.
We will have to work extra harder.
Exactly. I get it.
You have to work extra harder. Getting content, running your business as a media, simple stuff. Just put the camera on yourself. Tell the people something. Thank you
very much, Patrick. Thank you very much, Amishadai. Unfortunately, we had to let go, but the discussion will continue tomorrow as we engage entrepreneurs like yourself out there watching me on your best COVID-19 stories. My name is Charles Aite. It's been a great afternoon. Enjoy the rest of our programs.